Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. This is the Snowflake Corner, episode 32, where we look at news from outside the UK. The date and time is the 28th of June, 2024. Just gone past 6 p.m. UK time. Apologies for not being on time. It's just a slight delay there. I had something that just quickly came up just before I could go live. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're all ready for the weekend. We are dual streaming here live on YouTube and on twitch.tv. The reason why I'm not doing a poll here on last night's presidential debate is because it will be dropping tomorrow on the YouTube community post. So guys, you can cast your votes there if you watched it or didn't watch it. But that's where we're going to be. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Why is my live stream categorized as entertainment? I can't change that. That's very annoying. Oh, there we go. Sorry, just 1 second. I just need to update that. There we go. Stephen Banker, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. As the Kier there, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. So, I did not stay up to watch it, and I've only seen 1 or 2 clips from it. Last night was the presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And we're going to be actually watching highlights of it. It's about 30 minutes long, and I'll be going in and out of it. So about 35 minutes long. I do have some other stories if we have time to cover other stories or not. But I do have some articles if need be. And even a certain man from Portsmouth had something to say about the debate as well. So let's dive into it. Let's have a gander, shall we say, about this must-watch, what they call it from CNN, the must-watch moments of the CNN presidential debate. Here, so Larry the Cat, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Let's dive into this and let's see how this went. I'm very curious to know why Joe Biden was so freaking poor. Well, I've seen 1 or 2 clips, but let's have a gander, you guys.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Let me know what the volume's like, guys, as well. Oh my God, he looks terrible. Oh my God, he's so
And please
old.
welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Oh my God, America has to choose between these two. God have mercy on us all.
President Trump, we will get to immigration.
Sounds good. Okay. Doc Davis, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
Later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24% or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President.
That was really, really bad. That is so bad. That is so bad. Obviously, this is the first time I'm actually covering a US presidential debate here on the channel. And only doing the highlights. We're not doing the full thing, guys. Don't worry. And I have to say, like, this, someone put in the comments of this clip, because I've watched this already, but someone put in the comments in this clip, Trump was very smart here. Because you notice what he did here, when he was stumbling, Trump knew that he didn't need to say anything. Let Joe Biden fumble himself. Let him make errors and mistakes there. And he was clearly struggling there. And we know that Joe Biden has a bit of a memory problem there. both of them have massive flaws, just as considering their age. Oddly difficult to watch. Yeah, it is oddly difficult to watch indeed. But this was the first clip that I saw in the, earlier today, and when I saw this, I understood why some Democrats were considering, finding a replacement candidate and whatnot. Because, and and obviously when I was watching like the Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak debates, they had papers in front of them, so they had something to look at. Especially, and even in the 7 leader debates, these two didn't have any papers in front of them, as far as I'm aware. So they're literally going off memory here, which is near to next impossible, given their age as well, both of them.
Biden, President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people, they cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us.
That's your fault. That's your timing. That's mainly your time in office more than anything. You've damaged America's reputation more than anything. I mean, America has deteriorated their reputation as well, but people had a lot. People thought differently of America under Obama compared to you. You've damaged a hell of a lot of reputation out there, and if you become president, you're going to damage it a hell of a lot more. Everyone knows it.
Give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people.
That could not be more. This could not be more fake news than I ever thought here.
What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty brutal, So, is that all those people who have already come to America, who already paid their taxes, who have contributed to this, to the country, you're just going to pick them up and throw them out. It literally is what he's saying here. I mean, for some of those people listening, that's incredibly frightening, to say the least. But he will use the rhetoric of course, that they're taking all American jobs, that they're taking everything, that they're destroying the country and destroying everything, pretty much, is what you're going to be hearing from him. Sasha Hoshi, good to see you there, and One Angry Pagan.
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed...
Just a reminder, we're not watching the full debate. It's just some of the much-watched moments of them.
...are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and they just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast, because they're going to destroy our country. Just take.
This is so dangerous rhetoric, and people are buying into this. People are buying into this. Are there some migrants that come across the border that do some of the crimes that he has stated there? Absolutely. But are every single one of them like that? No, of course they're not. But he only needs to regurgitate this rhetoric, and the media only need to amplify it and use examples of it for people to have that mindset and belief of it. And it really isn't that hard for people to fall into this trap of that. And it's so bad. It's so bad. This is the kind of stuff I can see. I can literally, kid you not, in 4 years' time, I can see Nigel Farage and Keir Starmer in a TV debate, right, for the race to become Prime Minister. I can see Nigel Farage using the same kind of language, the same kind of rhetoric that Donald Trump is using, and people will buy into it. That's how dangerous these people are, because when you have money, when you have power, when you have media that is going to listen to you and print out things that you say, and if there is some evidence that supports some of the crazy things you say, people will buy into it, and people are buying into what he is saying.
Take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all.
I would say both. Like, there's no question that both presidents have been responsible for. There's no question that when you are someone with so much power and influence, especially on the global stage, there are always going to be lives lost by whatever policies and decisions that you make. Especially with such power being the power of the president.
All of these people to come in.
President
and it's
Biden,
a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up. Just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking, it's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers story. He should apologize to me right now.
Somehow I don't think he's going to apologise, guys. Wolfpack, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. For those who are just popping in, we're watching the must-watch moments, so it's not the whole thing, but it's about 35 minutes long, about 7 minutes in, you guys. Guys, I'm going to be flat out honest. When I'm looking at Biden, and I feel like either one or two things. Either he's shocked by what's coming out of Trump's mouth, which he shouldn't be, or he has no idea how to comprehensively counteract what President Trump is doing, what he's saying. Those are the two things that come into my mind every time I look at Joe Biden in this debate. looking at this right now. I just feel like he feels so much more weaker than Trump right now. That's how I'm looking at this, and it's really scary. And this is the thing that really bothered me, guys. I said ages ago, like when after Joe Biden became president, like I'm pretty sure I was saying around that time, obviously before I had my channel and that, and I was just thinking to myself, they cannot stick with Biden. They can't stick with Biden. Like, he's going to be too old. There's going to be problems, and the last thing you want is Trump coming back in and taking advantage of him. And from what I've read and what I've heard, this Biden was nowhere near as good as Trump.
A 4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now.
It's funny how I've heard under Trump's time in administration, I remember seeing 1 or 2 videos out there of veterans saying of how Trump done some good things for veterans. Whether they were better than Obama or Biden is obviously to be debated, but I have heard them out there without a doubt. So there may be some truth into what Trump's saying about veterans, but honestly, I can't say on hand on heart that he's been the best when it comes to veterans, if I'm honest.
They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its 3rd year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded.
Respected by Putin! You're a poodle for Putin! Respected by Putin! You're a poodle for him! You've shown that you were a suck-up for him. When you two were together, you showed that. You took his side. Then your own intelligence was telling you things that he was doing. And you took Putin's side. You're the poodle here. You're not respected by him. You're a puppet for him. My God.
Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love lost, but he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind, too. We left American citizens behind.
There is absolutely no question that the handling of Joe Biden and that Afghanistan withdrawal was absolutely diabolical. You cannot argue Trump here on this. The way it was done, the way it was conducted, the way everyone else had to follow America out of it, the way it was, the handling of it was really, really poor. Joe Biden has to take the heat for that. He really does. It was very, like, I get it. He wanted to get our soldiers home and all that, but the way it was done was not right at all.
When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded.
What? What's that got to do with Afghanistan? What's that got to do with Afghanistan? So you're implying... So before we even go any further, so is Donald Trump implying here that Vladimir Putin would not have invaded Ukraine if we hadn't pulled out of if America hadn't pulled out of Afghanistan? Is that what you are saying? On what basis does any of that make sense? That doesn't make any sense. You need to make that make sense to me. Where is the logic here? I don't understand the logic here. I'm sorry. And then Israel and Gaza. That's a completely different subject to this as well. Oh my God.
In a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
The war in...
Oh my God, adverts. Oh my God. Damn you, CNN. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No logic, Regan. Yeah, I don't get that logic. Now, he's also arguing, obviously, under his time, that there was peace in the Middle East as well. There was still conflict still taking place under your administration in the Middle East. There's still civil wars in Syria. There's still conflicts in Afghanistan. There were still conflicts in Afghanistan. You can't tell me there was all peace. There were still people in the West Bank there were still people in the West Bank under your time getting kicked out of their homes. Palestinian people getting kicked out of the West Bank, just like they are now. During your time, what have you been doing for them? Talking like he's talking like everything was perfect under him, which is absolute BS.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president. They attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did.
He clearly misspoke what he was saying there. He was supposed to say Putin can do whatever he wants. But clearly you can see again him getting his words and names mixed up here.
To Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish. Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
That's actually what the Kiev Independent has said, that's gone over 500,000. But obviously we don't know that 100% for certain.
Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only...
It is an easy... Yeah, it's easy mistake to make when you are that age. But the thing is, he's running to be president for the United States for another 4 years. It's not okay when you're running to be president of the United States for another 4 years.
End this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple.
When the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan.
I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January...
That's not the question! The question was January the 6th!
January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened?
You were being asked about what happened on January the 6th and what you did as president.
Happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing...
You told them you were going to march with them to the Capitol, and you were the one who fired them up. We saw the speeches. We saw the speeches you made before they went down there. You said you were going to go down there with them. People have not forgotten what you have said.
Writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be...
You said you could see what was happening. Well, you could have said something. You could have said something to stop them doing something stupid. People fucking died. People died. People died because of what happened on January the 6th. Died defending the people, defending the politicians in there. People wanted to hang Mike Pence. And you could have done something. You could have said something. You could have prevented that. You know you caused that. And you sat there. And there were many, I remember seeing so many reports, guys. I remember one report about one person who was saying that when this was all happening, that Trump was literally sitting there watching the television and literally had his feet up watching this. Didn't care at all until he was pushed into doing something about it. He was literally putting his feet up from people inside his administration when this was kicking off. He wanted that to happen.
Be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it.
And you did nothing about it. You are the president of the United States. You have the final say. You are the commander-in-chief. You can do anything. You could have done anything you wanted to do to stop that. It's on you. You are the president. It is your choice.
And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up to the Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court. And they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He didn't do a damn thing. And these people should be in jail. And they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that it could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President.
Yeah. He wants to let these people out. These people, a police officer died defending them, defended the politicians. They wanted to hang Mike Pence. They trashed the place as well. They were trashing the place as well. These are violent thugs. He turned them into that. And he wants to let them out. Because they're his supporters. This is absolutely insane.
President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities. You go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now, out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were.
What are you talking about? You're talking about. He's talking about obviously the rigged election and the information for that. But you can't cover. You can't cover up what happened on January the 6th. The video evidence. The world has seen it. And he's just trying. I don't understand how this man could defend these people. He should not be defending those people. It's absolutely horrible.
Right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots? Come on. When I asked him the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponent?
Basically, you want to throw everybody who may be a threat to you, threat to your power. You basically want to throw them in jail. But he's not going to say that straight. But he will do everything he can to throw anyone that may be a threat to him threat to his power in jail. That's what he's going to do. That is what he's going to do.
Opponents.
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going
Good evening, Jeannie Bowl. Good to see you.
to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times.
Yes, but we're talking about you. You've been convicted 34 times. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're talking about his son. He's the president that Joe Biden is not a convicted felon as well. Let's be clear about that.
Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible.
What's he done exactly?
Horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. Well, you want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about?
I gotta say, this was really good from Joe Biden. That's really, like, putting that on the spot to him, that's really good. That's really good. Really, like, throw it in. And look at Trump. He's like, I don't care. He don't care. Trump doesn't care. He really does not give a damn. And it's bonkers. It's absolute bonkers. Like, if you're a genuine, like, American sitting at home and you're listening to this and you're thinking, why does this guy think it's okay? I don't think it's okay. Why does this guy think it's okay? It's insane.
You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one.
You've been convicted of it.
It's
She says, "Oh yes, she made explicit details of that incident as well." Former President of the United States.
Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking.
This is all lies, by the way. This was completely independent from the from the Biden administration. None of the people involved were that. This was all by the U.S. law. None of this is true.
Democrats appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took.
That's because they're buying into everything that you say. They're not prepared. They're not prepared to listen to any other argument. They're prepared to die on your sword. I really feel sorry for these people who generally believe that you are their Lord and Savior, and you're a convicted felon. Like, the evidence is there.
Taken more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam, and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me. As I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought an awful lot of people. The whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and to bring home a product. So
he has done a lot of things as president, and luckily for him, when they've been able, but a lot of them had to be executive orders to get certain things done. But they have passed a lot of acts as well under him. So he has done a lot of good. He has done a lot of good in these 4 years. Countdown to Power, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And guess what? Those fabs, they call to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of
I don't know about them.
Our allies and those who he cuddles up to, from Kim Jong-un, who he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know.
Oh, the cognitive test. Oh God. I guess that works for him. You know, it will work for people.
We made it public. He took none.
look at Biden's face. Oh dear.
And I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical.
He should take one. He should take one, and if he passes it, he should take one and pass. And if he passes it, it makes Trump look like, yes, see, I did it. So what? I think Biden should take one just to. And if he passes it, great. But if he fails it, ooh.
Exams every year, and you know, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just want.
Man, woman, camera, TV. Yay, I passed it. Thanks, Larry the Cat.
2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way, and I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced him. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president.
I don't think I would actually want to see you two in a driving test. I'm a little bit concerned about that, if I'm perfectly honest, guys.
Down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf with you if you carry your own bag.
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay, let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to turn
Let's not act like children.
to a specific concern that voters have about you. Will you?
I want to see. I actually want them seriously to have a golf I want them to have a game of golf. I really want them to have a game of golf because it would just emphasize just how bad things are for America. Yes, both president and former president are engaged in a game of golf. Joe, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Biden should step down. He's past it, and there's much better Democrats to lead the party. I said this years ago. That there was gonna be these problems. They didn't see the warning signs. They should have seen the warning signs about Biden. They should have taken these age into account.
You pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
No, he will not say any of that because we know that he will look for any kind of scapegoats in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent because he indicted me because I was.
He didn't indict you. You indicted yourself with your actions and your words. Oh, my God.
Was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are.
I think there is some like this World War III thing. We've heard this from British politicians. We're hearing this from Trump. This concept, this idea of World War III. I'm more inclined to think that it could be just scaremongering, but there also can be a lot of this, yeah, because you have to think about what's happening right now, right? You have the conflict that's going on in Europe between Russia and Ukraine. You have the conflict right now between Israel and Gaza. You have any time can happen now. A full-blown scale between Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel could kick off at any moment. You have Iran, obviously. Who obviously are who are pushing as much action against Israel as much as it possibly can. You have the Houthis obviously disrupting and causing trouble down there, as well as obviously the continued civil war that's taking place between the Houthis and the Yemeni government, which is obviously the backing of Saudi Arabia. You've had the war that's going place in Sudan that's been going on for over a year now, and there still hasn't been any resolution to that conflict whatsoever. You've had many countries in the Central Africa, Niger, and a couple of others along the continent there that have always been relied on the French and had French currency. Some of those countries now are falling into disarray and civil wars and conflicts of their own because of misinformation and propaganda and the idea of no longer being under the influence or control of French authorities that is coming in. So you've got that going on. You still have what's going on in Myanmar at the moment, the dictatorship there of the military rule and occupation that's taking place there, the horrible audacity of lives that have been lost that is taking place in there. You also have the tension that's taking place between Taiwan and China. That's continuously the tension that is going on there. You also have the increasing prerogative between the north and south of Korea on the Korean Peninsula. That is still that is still there, a gas leak that could start at any time as well. Hence why there's so many US military forces around that area to protect South Korea and what could be a full-blown war. And that's not even obviously, and then there's obviously what's happening in Tibet, which is barely even talked about there. Have I missed any other conflicts? I probably have. Oh yeah, there's probably stuff going on in South America that I've missed as well. So to say that there isn't a world war, so to say with all these things, now yes, there are always conflicts taking place, but there has never been a time, I don't think, where there has been more tension, more conflicts for quite a while than now. So there is a very possibility that a World War III could come. Yeah, there is a very serious possibility of this, and it's just a case of who is going to what is going to ignite it. You know, I do feel like the tension is there. It's just a case of matter of it's starting to feel to me it's a matter of if, a matter of when, not if. And I fear that. I really fear that. But this is where the how important it is that international communities, international countries, the United Nations and all these do more to de-escalate and deal with these current crises and situations that are taking place and combat the badly damaged misinformation that is out there, that is poisoning so many politicians, poisoning so many people's minds. That is what's going down on this as well. So many millionaires and billionaires are ripping people off all across the globe, not just in America, not just in the UK, but in other nations too. There's so much bad things happening in the world, and not enough is being done. Not enough good things are being done. So the idea that there isn't a thing like World War II, World War III, a possibility of World War III coming, don't rule it out. And I always say, just be prepared for anything, guys. I'm not trying to scaremonger anybody, but considering what's been going on across the globe, there are a lot of things going on, and more needs to be done to deal with lots of conflicts. And he's saying he would get things under control. I don't buy that for a second, that President Trump would deal with all the things in the Middle East. I don't buy this, that he would end the conflict in Ukraine, not without Ukraine losing its own goddamn territory. I don't buy this stuff from him. I really don't.
Are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all, and required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done and what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. That is exactly what Putin is going to do. If Putin takes Ukraine, he will go after the Baltic countries. He will go after Poland. He will expand his territory. He wants to revive the Soviet Union. That's what he wants. That's what his legacy he wants to be. We know that's what he wants. He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop with Ukraine. This idea that he's going to stop with Ukraine is nonsense. This is not just about NATO. He's going to go for those Baltic states, regardless that they're members of NATO or not. He's going to go for them. There's a reason why Finland joined, because they are, for all the preparation and everything that Finland have done on their borders, they know that Russia cannot be trusted to stay on their borders. Just cannot trust them. Hate and war, the only things that got today, and if I close my eyes, it will not go away. You have to deal with it currently. I don't think anybody of any sense believes much Trump says, but they aren't the type of people that he's trying to appeal to, says Countdown to Power. Yeah, we know the kind of people he's trying to appeal to. We know the kind of people he's trying to appeal to. And the thing is that he says he does say a lot of lies, but he also says a lot of truths to people. And as long as he's giving some truths, people will buy into him as well. And that's the real fear here.
Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games.
It was under Obama, wasn't it, 2014, that Putin annexed Crimea, and nothing was done of it. But there's no him saying this, like, dude, like, you can't promise this. You can't guarantee this. Like, you just don't believe it. I just don't believe this man. I really don't.
He took nothing from me, but now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia, because Ukraine's not winning that war.
I absolutely agree, Joe. Obama should have done something. When Crimea was annexed, the world did nothing. The world did nothing. When Russia annexed Crimea, the world stood by. That was such a terrible, terrible thing from the world to do. That was so terrible of the world. America, Europe, UK, everyone stood by. It was such a terrible thing. And at the end, he is right in saying that we should never have you should never have let that happen. Should never have let that happen. And another thing that Trump has been right about was I remember he was in a meeting with I remember when he was president, he was in a meeting with Germany or something, and they mocked him. They mocked him for saying that you rely on Russia too much. They're not laughing at him now. Trump is the one that's laughing at Germany there. So, you know, he does hit some truths, no matter how many, with all the lies that Trump says, he does occasionally hit some truths, as much as it annoys people.
He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again,
yeah, it's called prison. You should try it.
no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Well, let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
And, yeah, can't stand it. He can't stand it. he's one of those who just doesn't like to lose. He will not accept defeat. He will not accept loss. He's definitely one of them, guys. Well, that was certainly some interesting highlights there. What did I think of this debate? Well, obviously, these are only much-watched moments of the CNN presidential debate. I don't think Biden was as bad in that. Now, I haven't seen the full thing, and maybe I should watch the full thing so that I can actually gauge the picture of what people are saying about Joe Biden. So, obviously, I need to watch the full picture. So, obviously, I have to be careful. It's not right for me to say that Joe Biden was fantastic and Trump was terrible, because I haven't watched the full thing. Or we've only seen 35 minutes of this, some of the much-watched moments there. So I haven't seen the full thing, so it's not fair for me to say that Joe Biden was perfect or was better than Trump or vice versa. I can only go by what we've seen there. And based off what we've seen on this video, I think Joe Biden came out pretty solid at times. Right at the start there, that was really, really bad for him. I thought it was really, really poor. Where he looked like he was just didn't know where he was. But in the clips that we've shared here, Joe Biden didn't apart from that blip, it looked like Joe Biden had been pretty alright with his memory there. But whether he was like that throughout the whole presidential debate, I don't know. Obviously, I'll need to watch it all in full to know that. I don't know when I'll be able to watch it in full, but I need to watch it in full to have a better gauge of it. But make no mistake about it, guys. This is not like Sunak and Keir Starmer. This is very tight. There are lots of Americans who will die on the heel for President Trump, who will stand by Trump no matter what he says or what he does. This is nowhere near over in any way, shape, or form. And really, the world is on a knife edge when it comes to this as well. And there are many, many factors that are playing in dividing people's votes as well in this. I do fear for America, regardless of whoever becomes president, because even if Trump is stopped from becoming president, Biden, I can't see him having the same memory in that he has before. It is frustrating, guys. It is frustrating. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying in the chat. Unless you're particularly interested, I wouldn't waste the time, mate. I watched the whole thing, and you pretty much captured the key points. This countdown to power. Yeah, I don't know why. I had a quick nose from Labour Social and seen Graham Hughes there at 2 a.m. and then I briefly saw you in the live chat. So I don't know if I'm assuming that you stayed up and watched it with Graham Hughes. I don't know why I don't know why Graham did it, but fair play to him for doing that. I guess it is going to be a topic of discussion anyway. It's something that Politics Social, not Labour Social, is something that they can obviously chip their wagon to. And I could cover more presidential debates anyway. I take my axe, I take my blade, I won't return, says Jow. I can't stand losing. Yeah, that's definitely what it comes across. Said Sir Larry the Cat. Genie Bottle says, I guess you call it cowardless, but I'm not prepared to go to jail. I can't stand losing. This is what one of my ancestors said before perishing in a battle, one angry pagan. So did I. LOL. Graham had his head in his hands. Oh dear, guys. Well, let's hear what. Let's get some expert analysis opinion, guys. Here from Colin in Portsmouth. Let's hear what an expert analysis had to say here.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
Anthony, it's terrifying. Confused, blabbering nonsense. Can't follow a simple train of thought.
Is this you you're talking about, Colin?
Joe Biden has lost it. I cannot believe we've given that man the keys to the White House. What if he loses the keys? What if Russia got in?
Well, I think Russia got in with the last guy, didn't they?
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, Donald Trump doesn't make any sense, Colin. Have you heard him?
Yes, but at least Donald Trump is entertaining.
Yes.
If your mental abilities are going, at least have a gold toilet seat and a fake tan. That's the difference between being presidential and being someone who hangs around bus stops with one too many shopping bags.
Yeah.
Listen to what Donald Trump is saying, Anthony. Yes, it's all complete nonsense, but it sounds plausible because he's not dribbling while he's saying it. And it does make it easier that I agree with him. Plus,
That's true, yeah.
he's better at golf. Biden is way too old to be leader of the free world.
Wait a minute. Biden's 81, Donald Trump's 78. Colin?
It's a world of difference. 70
Right.
is youthful. Are you ageist now, Anthony? Are you saying the middle-aged can't perform in public life?
no.
You'd love that, wouldn't you? You liberal metropolitan elites, if the voting age was restricted to under 60, so that you can fight Russia with your LGBTQ army after they've just read bedtime stories to children in public libraries? Your generation are neuter in Western civilization. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
That Keir Starmer's getting on a bit, ain't he?
Oh dear, guys. Oh dear. That's very good from Colin in Portsmouth there. Joe Biden has lost it. Hope you guys enjoy that. So, guys, I don't think I'm going to add any more to this. I don't think there's anything more to add. But before we head out, guys, I think we'll do. I did get some funny memes for you guys, so I think we'll do the funny memes before we head out. I did add other stuff, but considering that we've gone more than an hour, I don't think I want to add any more to it. And quite frankly, guys, I'm a little bit tired. I've recorded so much content today, you would not believe. But I'll tell you guys in just a moment. But are you guys ready for the funny memes? Because that's the real reason you watch the Snowflake Corner. It's not for any of the content. This is the only reason you come here, is to listen to me try to do these funny memes. I hope you guys enjoy them. Here we go. Don't bother walking a mile in my shoes. That would be boring. Spend 30 seconds in my head. That'll freak you right out. That feeling when you walk into an air-conditioned building. I'm trying to save money, so stop asking me if I want to go out, because I'm going to say yeah. Stop saying they didn't teach us that in school. Yes, they did. You were talking. If I offend you, number one, I'm really sorry. Number two, I will tone it down. Number three, number one and number two are lies. Number four, I just don't care. Watch out for this. More proof that the earth isn't flat. There it is, guys. There is your proof that the earth is not flat. So if any flat earthers are telling you that it is flat, this is all the evidence you need right here. This is not a meme. That is real. Hope you guys enjoyed the funny memes, guys. Lots of fun there. So guys, just before I head out, just want to quickly let you guys know the next live stream will be Monday with another episode of Snowflake's Viewpoint. I will be doing the Snowflake Watch on Wednesday night as well. And as for Thursday night, obviously, I'm still not 100% sure what's going on because I've not had a response from Lee Korn, which is a bit concerning. I'll message him again to find out what's going on. But a reminder, Friday morning, I've already put up the schedule for it for a live stream on Friday morning, the day after everything was voted counted. So that's definitely going to be happening as well. Snowflake's Corner, I'm still scheduling Snowflake's Corner for next week, Friday. So we'll still be covering World News Round, but obviously there won't be a Regan's, there won't be a Regan's News Round next week. I'm not sure how I'm going to do content this week in terms of, because obviously election news is going to be kind of, there's no point doing election news so close to the actual voting day because I'm not going to get much numbers for it. So I'm not exactly what I'm going to do like from Wednesday onwards. So I'm not 100% sure. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But over the next few days, there's going to be a couple of polls going to be dropping as well, as we in the run up to the general election as well. And obviously, like I said in the community posts, that will be dropping in a few hours. Just a reminder, obviously, there'll be plenty of content dropping, plenty of shorts, plenty of that usual stuff anyway, guys. So thank you all for coming along. I really appreciate everyone who's popped by and watched that along with me. Let me know what you guys thought about the debate in full. And obviously, tomorrow they'll be dropping a community post asking who you think was better off in that debate as well, whether it's Trump, whether it was Biden, or you didn't watch it at all. The gang is here, by the way. They have been here the whole time. Pingu thought Trump won, and Ollie and Cash Dummy thought Biden won. Me personally, I thought Biden was. I didn't think Biden was that terrible anyway. I thought he was okay. We'll just have a quick look, see what you guys are saying. Colin is a parody. I feel always down for the D-Drops. Thank you all, spokes. Follow mods. Enjoy your weekends. Eat and drink. Yep, guys. Have a great weekend. Take care. Look after yourselves. All that usual stuff, guys. But just before I head out, if you can, just do one more thing for me. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe. Or live stream. And subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.